Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hammered and Homers. I am your co-host, Jacob Pearl. Alongside me is your mom's favorite Little Leaguer, the Hunter Malone. And you know what time it is. We're at near the end of the first month of baseball. We're going to recap some of what we found last week, talk a little bit about some maybe early trade talk, all right here on Hammered and Homers. Hunter, obviously, forgot to say, of course, let's Kraken. Unfortunately, neither of us have beers tonight.
It's not true.
What do you have?
Listen to me. I have beer.
No, you said you had wine.
When I want to be sophisticated, I have wine. But I am always down to get a little degenerate over here. Okay, we pull from the bullpen. Just because we got a starter does not mean I got a reliever.
I'm just
I can
drinking
be
Propel.
classy and a little assy.
I'm drinking Propel. I had a long weekend of drinking Carback Love Street Blonde Brewing. That beer, if you're in Texas, very good. Very good. I enjoyed it a lot. But as always, this podcast is sponsored by Florida Avenue Brewing, home of your My Boy Blue. Get all your alcoholic needs from Florida Avenue Brewing. Great shirts, great food, even better beer right there in Wesley Chapel. Now, Hunter, without further ado here.
The Big Z.
The Big Z Glass Masters Cup.
Pretty fire.
Give me a guy I forgot about.
Somebody you shouldn't have forgotten about.
I don't forget him, actually. I think about him quite often.
His birthday was yesterday. So we have to give a shout out to the birthday boy. Give me 6'6", so close. Right-handed pitcher, Chris Carpenter. Celebrated his birthday yesterday. He was a first-round pick, 15th overall out of high school. He has a career 34 WAR, which I didn't realize it was that high. He won the Cy Young in 2005. He's a three-time All-Star, two-time NL Comeback Player of the Year. Funny because the scouts saw the potential in his size, obviously being 6'6", but he only threw in the low 90s. So in today's day and age, when you've got these young bucks hitting 100, it's funny that you see somebody who's 6'6", only giving in low 90s, but that power curveball. Man, did he make a career off of it. Multiple injuries that deemed career threatening, including 3 surgeries in his elbows, 2 in his shoulder, another in his rib cage, caused Carpenter to miss nearly 5 full seasons of his very long career. However, he is a 2-time World Series winner and a 3-time NL champion. Happy belated birthday, Chris Carpenter.
Cardinals legend, of course. Never forget about my king like that. Haven't had a bona fide ace since Carpenter. Wainwright was up there, but like him and Carpenter together were phenomenal. My guy, I saw this jersey at the Rangers game on Saturday when they played the Athletics, and I was like, man, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Coco Crisp of back then, the Oakland Athletics. Big speedster on the base pass, totaling 49 stolen bases in 2011. Never was really a big batter, batted .265 in his career, only 130 homers, but had over 300 career stolen bags in his 15-year career. Coco Crisp, you forgot about. Going right into it then, Hunter, your hammered player of the week.
Yeah, I think this was like one of the first times we didn't even discuss who we had, so we might have the same people. Hammered player of the week, I have Willy Adames. Willy Adames batted .045, probably less than what your dog weighs. He had 1 hit and scored 1 run in 5 games. If you had Willy Adames in your fantasy league, you were using colorful language on him because he got you nothing.
Yeah, I think I was in between 2 guys for hammered player of the week, but this guy's starting to piss me off on the Cardinals. So his name is Victor Scott II. In his last 5 games, he's gotten 1 hit, and he's gotten what looks like 4 strikeouts. One of them, he's all his numbers, Hunter, are all in the negatives in terms of the advanced metrics. Like, he is so bad right now. Like, it's embarrassing. Like, his current value batting is at like a -7 through this season, and I'm just like, dude, this is bad. He's batting 191 on the year. He did his first home run tonight against the Pirates, so maybe this is what he needs to turn it around. But Victor Scott the second is pretty bad. My runner up though was Luis Castillo. This past outing, 7 hits, 7 earned, 3 strikeouts, gave up 2 home runs in 5 innings of work, got the loss against the Twins. He has not pitched well. I actually just dropped him off my fantasy baseball team because I was like, I can't keep doing this anymore with him.
Did the same thing in another league. Yep.
Like,
We
it's like,
both
listen,
dumped him today for somebody.
it's like, listen, I gave you enough chances. I gave you enough runway. It's not working between us, right? I can't keep this relationship going.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we've had 5 or 6 starts. You're just at this point, like I can handle one, I can handle two, three. We're like, all right, I need to see you going up positive. He's just it's up and down and just never hitting the
Too
Mendoza
many
line.
too many
I'm with
negative
you.
too many negative games for me. Like you can have one negative game where you get schlacked, right? Like Garrett Crochet, for instance, get shellacked. You gotta eat it. But when you give me
Yeah.
2 to 3 negative games out of 5 starts this year, I'm not there. My homered player of the week, staying with pitchers, is Mr. Chris Sale. Had himself a great outing last week. Looks like he's just in midseason form. This past game against the Phillies, 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned, 9 strikeouts, only gave up 2 walks, went up into the hundreds of his pitch count, which he's done the last 2 outings. He's looked great. Minus the 1 outing against the Angels, he's only given up 1 earned in every single game except that game against the Angels. Currently has a 231, 5-1 on the season. Chris Sale, that last outing, the dominance with the 9 strikeouts, no earned, 1 hit, dominant 6 innings. That really stood out to me last week. There, I also kind of I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna hold my honorable mention until you say yours, so I don't steal it.
Yeah, for me, I went with this is going to be a first time Homer Player of the Week. And if you were playing MLB The Show, you might have noticed that he was boosted. And I was grinding with him for the past 2 or 3 days. That swing is money. That thing is butter. I'm talking about Mr. Vargas over at Arizona. He was batting 364 with 8 hits, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, and 7 runs scored in 5 games. This man was absolutely on fire. And one of the guys that we pointed out in deeper leagues, hey, when a guy gets this hot, go ahead and snag him, ride the wave. The worst case scenario, if somebody just gets injured or you've got somebody who's has Jazz Chisholm who's like, I need another infielder. Like, I just can't. Trade him for like a pitcher. Trade him for a reliever. Trade him and an outfielder to upgrade a position or something. I love using those hot hands and trying to level up on it, especially in the deeper leagues when you have guys that just know ball, play MLB The Show. That guy's flagged for him, so when you're the one that gets to snag him, it's even more they're like, "Ugh, I need him." And you never know. I mean, maybe it's more than just a hot streak. Maybe he wakes up, but and has a great season. But I mean, the past 5 games, he has been insane.
Yeah, my honorable mention is a Mr. Nathan Church, specifically this past weekend series against the Mariners. He had 3 home runs. He had a multi-home run game on Saturday, 5 RBIs in the season. But it's not only what he did with the bat, it's the defensive, catches he makes in the outfield, going and snagging balls against the wall, throwing dudes out. He had a great series against the Mariners, but Chris Sale in that dominant performance got it for me. So let's dive into what we are deeming it as the Boston Red Wedding. The Red Sox fired everyone. Cora, their 5 pitching, hitting, all the coaches associated with Alex Cora gone, fired. Unemployment board. Alex Cora looks like he's enjoying himself. It's one of those things when you look at it if you're a Red Sox fan, you kind of saw coming, but maybe you didn't see coming. The start was really bad. So, Hunter, the floor is yours to talk about the tragedy of the Red Wedding in Boston.
Yeah, I know if you're watching from home, like you can't see because I have way too much lighting. But basically, on this side is everyone who got fired. I got who's still here, and then the new place. So basically, who got fired? Alex Cora. Won a World Series with us as a player and a coach. Pete Fatsy, hitting coach from 22 to yesterday. Honestly, he was fucking ass. Thank God he was gone. He was horrible. Kyle Hudson, third base. He was the one that replaced Bryant Butterfield. Butterfield was getting too old and honestly making poor decisions. Kyle Hudson, honestly, the base running has not been great for the Red Sox in a long time. So good riddance. Ramon Vasquez, I'm very sad to see. That was an excellent bench coach, future manager, PR legend, PR for Puerto Rico, not for like, PR. Dylan Lawson, former hitting coach for the Yankees in 22-23. Assistant hitting coach from 25 to yesterday. Only was in the spot for a little bit. Joe Cronin, he's gone promoted in 21. He was an intern in player development in Greenville, promoted to the Sox. He's no longer with us. And I think the worst move of all, Jason Varitek. He will be assigned a new role in the organization. Bullshit. That was a soft fire, and you're a piece of shit for it. You just couldn't face it because you're a PR firm. And that is not Puerto Rico. That is PR as in PR. You didn't give him that. Varitek gave you a thumbs down because of it. Who's still here? What was there? The Red Sox's biggest issues are pitching, run prevention, and defense. So why the fuck is the pitching coach still here, along with all the pitching staff, all of them, every single one of them? They're gone. They're still here. They're not gone. They're still here. Craig Breslow, why the fuck are you still here? This team is incompetent, horrible. Why? Because you put it together that way. I mean, a 7-year-old could tell you what we needed, and you didn't get it. John Henry, I know why you're still here. You own that bitch, but I wish you didn't. Now, who did we hire or promote from within? Chad, he's our new head coach. Chad, he's our new interim third base coach. If you see where I'm going here, we are now the Chad Sox. We got a bunch of bros and youngins. We have Colin, he joins the hitting staff. He was in Worcester last year. We hired like 2 or 3 like minor leaguers to be like Drew Earnhardt, who's somebody who I played baseball with before. He was a double-A utility man, mostly played DH. He's now our bullpen coach, which is weird to say. Like you just pulled a double-A player and was like, new bench coach. Like it's very weird what they just did, but basically anyone who's bought into Driveline, knows Driveline, is into the upper analytics, you got the job. Like they're 100% bought in on that. And the problem is everyone in the business is like, that's not the way to go. Like you don't win based off just analytics. And unfortunately, the Red Sox are like, nope, you do. We're gonna be the first team to do it. And honestly, since we switched to Driveline and all the analytics, that was what 2018. I think the only successful team was 2021, and that was honestly a fluke. And just we got caught at the right time. It feels like we're trying to outraise everybody, but we're a big market. Like you don't have to be the raise. You can just pay people. So it's really shitty that Cora was the scapegoat for all this because he's a shitty babysitter. He's a really good manager. That's what he should be as a manager, not a fucking babysitter. He just shouldn't have to sit here while Roman Anthony gets hammered in Southie and then he has to fucking reprehend him. We shouldn't have to reprehend, Narvaez for what he did earlier in the season. Like he's hinted so many times that Marcelo was so immature, he's not ready for this yet. Breslow feels like he is, so that's why he's here. Cora was a bad babysitter, and that's why he got fired, and he butted head way too much with Breslow. Everyone on that fired list was a Cora guy, not a Breslow guy. If you were Breslow, you kept the job. If you were with AC, you got on the PJ and you dipped, which is why Veritek did not go anywhere. I love the quotes that we have from Breslow. I have them saved. The players immediately afterwards. Garrett Whitlock on the message from Red Sox management. He said, end quote, they made it very clear that we need to get paid or that we get paid for baseball and we need to just focus on playing baseball. Thanks, Craig. Told one of our high leverage relievers to shut up and dribble. Trevor Story, some of the best coaches in the world didn't get a fair shot. Breslow, you put an inept lineup and an inept roster together. We saw what Alex Cora could do when you put talent around him. He won. He did it with Houston, and then he did it the next year with the Red Sox. 21 was probably the second most talented team, not even close to being as talented as 21, and they were a couple games away from being in the World Series. An anonymous Red Sox alum, this is my favorite quote, and then I'll give you the floor, Jacob. The quote is, the firing of AC, it's like shitting your pants and changing your feel like that's pretty spot on.
I think when I look at the Boston Red Sox, it's you have a Corvette, but like you got the donuts on as wheels. You got the spares. Like you got a nice car, but they're like the car ain't running great because you did not replace it with the proper pieces.
Yeah, you never gotten an oil change on that thing.
Yeah, it's when I look at Boston in its entirety of the Breslow administration, Was he, he wasn't part of the Mookie and some of the ineptitude that Kyle Bloom had, but I think Kyle, in a long run, also is all those guys you got via trade are the guys you have now, but also you should never have traded a guy like Mookie. But more focusing on Breslow because it just seems like you're trying to mitigate situations and bank on 21-year-olds to be veterans to take these massive steps up based on a projection model. And granted, Roman Anthony hasn't looked the part. He's been injured. He's not hitting well. But you're also putting a lot of pressure on a guy who's 22, 21, trying 22 to be the captain of one of the most historic franchises in all of baseball in a tough media market. That's insane, right? And then I thought the pitching got better, right? But again, I was very adamant all season being Sonny Gray is not a number 2. I'm not sure Ranger Suarez has elevated into that number 2 role either, like I thought he would have. I think you took, in the offseason, this past offseason, I felt like you took educated risks. The failure to re-sign Bregman has been loud, the shadows and repercussions of that is louder than I think they realize. Getting rid of Devers is one thing because he was causing issues. Fine.
Was it him though that caused the issue?
It wasn't. Listen, I'm just going off of what your reasoning is for getting rid of Devers. Granted, Devers ain't doing too hot in San Francisco, so it's not like you missed much. But it's like if you were able to re-sign Bregman, how different would this team look right now? Right? Like they would feel so different. I think obviously who knows what the wins would look like. But the feel would be different because Bregman is a leader and he can handle that type of business. Putting a lot on Roman Anthony, putting a lot on these guys who are just not ready to be the faces of franchises. Like the Cardinals, the one thing I think Red Sox fans and Cardinals fans are very similar is until Kyle Bloom for the Cardinals, we were left in this purgatory state of rebuild. Not rebuild, they called it a retool. Right? We're right there. We just missed the wild card. We're just going to retool a couple things and we'll be back in the conversation, right? But in reality, we had an aging Paul Goldschmidt, an aging Arenado whose average continued to dip every single year. You continue to start Nolan Gorman, who sucks, right? He's playing much better this year. But you're yo-yoing Jordan Walker for no reason. And then you have an ineptitude of a starting pitching, right? And an ineptitude of a bullpen. And granted, the Cardinals still kind of have that right now in terms of the bullpen piece. The bullpen for the Cardinals is the worst in baseball. Starting rotation is not terrible in terms of McGreevy and Liberatore, but once they go to the bullpen, they're cooked. Kyle this season gave us clarity of where we are. He made moves that made sense. You guys were just a wild card team. You guys felt like the page was turning. You guys felt like this could be the year. You go and get Suarez and Sonny Gray, and you're like, okay, we're going to get, but you got a lot of money invested in Crochet. We have these pieces. Don't re-sign Bregman. You're like, oh my God, we go trade for Caleb Durbin. He sucks. You have a crowded outfield with Duran.
Outfielders.
With Duran.
Spots.
Is Rafaela still there?
Yeah.
And Abreu and Anthony. You have Marcelo Meyer. Is Meyer even playing? I don't even know.
He platoons at second. He plays often when there's righties, and then they'll let him occasionally go against lefties. Monasterio comes in quite a bit. They kind of rotate playing time, and they play 7 innings and then get pinched hit later on. It's weird.
And I think I read this. I think Breslow and company, and this is why I get frustrated with outside management or not private equity, but guys who try to think they're smarter than the game. Mozeliak kind of did that. Kyle Bloom, maybe a little bit of that in his early tenure with the Red Sox, but the disdain for trading Mookie was kind of a death wish in and of itself. But I love what he's doing with the Cardinals. Really, really love what we're doing. But it's you look at the smart owners. They spend money. They keep hometown guys. And even the guys who don't spend money, they are smart with their roster construction. The Rays are a perfect example of that. Roster construction, pure development, good product on the field. The Red Sox, I'm gonna be honest, I think sometimes it gets like this for me when they focus too much on the profits outside of it. Like it's kind of like not like Pittsburgh is a different case because no one was going to those games. But like the cost of Red Sox games continue to rise every year because it's more
So expensive.
because they become more of a tourist destination now. It's probably that and Wrigley are probably the two, but even Wrigley, I get emails like they're giving me deals. Like I got buy two get one free deals going on in Wrigley right now. But like win or lose, people are coming to Fenway. It is a must-see baseball destination that I think maybe two other teams can honestly say that they are. You're looking at the Yankees and the Cubs as the other two teams that will have full stadiums no matter what, win or lose, because of the tourist destination.
Yeah, I think I'm going to piggyback off of the ticket thing because the Red Sox aren't the only ones experiencing that. From John Henry, Liverpool is in a protest right now, and I'll show you what they're holding up yellow cards.
We'll
Actual like
insert it into the YouTube.
yellow cards. Look at the yellow in the stadium, and then you
Can
should
I
hear. I'll
can
play
I
the
can I get
crowd
on my
noise for
soapbox?
you.
Let me get on my Can I get on my soapbox?
Yeah.
I need to. I obviously, if you followed me on Deal with D and J or on here or in the Green Dog podcast, I'm a little bit hesitant when I talk about college athletics, but I love talking shit about pro athletics, pro sports. It is such a break that out and enjoy yourself. It is such a sad sight to see that the games that we love and what made moments so special was our parents being able to bring us to games when we're 6, 5 years old, 8 years old, and like they weren't going to go poor trying to go to games. There wasn't this incredible resale market trying to squeeze every dime out of suckers traveling to Boston or New York or Chicago. Like, none of that for baseball. You want to go see these teams and travel, but it's just like everything is so expensive. We can talk about no, we're not a politics show. But when it comes to owners, it is so sad that you get into it for like a business reason because sports is an exponential business. It is a appreciating asset. Every year, your money grows. And it's so sad when you see teams like the Red Sox and Liverpool, and like the Cronkies did this to St. Louis because like the reason why the Rams had a team was because a woman, I'm blanking on her name, but she like loved St. Louis. That's why she moved the team there. And like her only goal was to leave the team, and then obviously she passed away, couldn't stay in the family. Cronky buys it, moves it back to LA to get all the money. But like owners view it as a business thing and the money, and it's like you can't take the money with you when you're 6 feet under. How much more money can you obtain, John Henry? How much more money can you obtain, Stan Kroenke? Generational wealth has already been procured. You're squeezing out the common fan. MLB Network does this. I mean, depending on who you're a fan of a team of, you're blacked out in some markets. Luckily for me, if I want to watch Cardinals games, I'm not blacked out because I'm in a Rangers market. So, like, I'm good. You love the Red Sox, you're not blacked out unless they play the Rays. And that's the only time, like, you struggle. And that's maybe, what, 6 times a year? Maybe more? I don't know how many times they come home.
They used to play 18 times. I think it's 14, 12.
So, like, when you look at these owners and they take the money and they do all this stuff, and then they hire these inept people to try and be smarter than what the game has been, you're not smarter than the game of baseball. It has always been the same. Guy pitch, you hit. That's baseball, folks. You can't outsmart. The analytics can tell you the velo and all these things to get better. But like you're not going to outsmart winning and what it takes to win ball games. The price of the fans, the experiences, it's so expensive. Like going to the Rangers game cost my dad, he got lucky. He got $80 down in the hundreds for this game against the Athletics. So, but you're looking at $160 plus food, plus parking, plus everything. You're looking at a $300 night. But it's a shame. It's a shame. College athletics is another story in and of itself. The NCAA expanded the tournament, which is such a bad decision. But when it comes to the Red Sox, there it should be no excuse to not be a spender. you can be on par with the Dodgers and Yankees and the Mets. You have the money. You just don't want to pay the luxury tax. And it's like for a couple years, enjoy some Bregman. And then you can let Anthony get up to speed, then put it on his shoulders. And then like maybe we're having a different conversation about the Red Sox and maybe Alex Cora is not fired. But brutal for the Red Sox. But Boston fans are going to be vocal all season that they want either Breslow fired or both him and Henry gone.
Yeah, they've already had sell the team chants like in his face, like when he's in house and he like they like turned over to him and Nesson and he was like, "What are they saying?" And they're like, "Sell the team." No. All right. Well, I'll tell you what they said. They're going, "Enough is enough. Enough is enough. You greedy bastard. Enough is enough." While they're holding these yellow cards loud as hell in the stadium, and it's like a 45-minute clip of it just going nuts. And I think I saw Foley's tweet from Section 10. We'll put it this way: 2018, the most dominant team in the century. 19, you fired Dombrowski. That's your spender. That was a guy we see with the Phillies. He went out and spent on big names. He's getting talent. He's acquiring it. He's putting the pieces together. And he's just been hit with injury bugs and then hot teams that just knock him out. In 2020, you trade Mookie Betts for a bag of peanuts. The 2021 season was the ALCS loss. 2022, you signed Story to replace Xander. We saw how they never was able to come to terms with Xander. In 2023, Xander walks, JD's gone, Evaldi walks, Chain Bloom fired, and Chris Sale traded for Von fucking Grisham. 5 Bregman signed. We saw how that worked. We said, oh, it'll be a second baseman, only to put him at third. Devers gets traded because he's pissed off on the lack of communication. Wonder where we've seen that before. And then at the end of the season, Bregman opts out, so you ended up with neither. You tried to re-sign Bregman, it didn't happen, so you pivoted to Ranger Suarez, called him a number 2, and then you panic trade for Caleb Durbin, who sucks. 2026 so far, Cora's been fired. You fuck up the Veritek thing by firing him in front of everyone. Somebody who's given 3 decades of his life to this team. And that's why you get Cora and all those guys with Veritek giving you a thumbs down. Alex Cora didn't trade Mookie Betts. He didn't miss out on multiple big name free agent signings. He sure fit in lowball Bregman. And you asked him to manage a team whose leader was a 22-year-old kid with 9 career homers. This wasn't a Cora issue in the slightest bit. This is an ownership thing. And I think Red Sox fans have been patient enough. Now they're loud as hell saying sell the team. Everywhere I see sell the team, sell the team. I got it early. I was saying this last year. He needs to go. I was saying it the year before. There is literally a TikTok of all the fuck ups that he had, him being John Henry, on our page if you scroll deep enough. It's like a 7-minute video on our page. I called for this years ago. Probably last year. I think this account's a little over a year old. So I called for it last year, and I feel like this is the first I was right moment for our video. Especially one when it comes to a long-term prediction like this, where it's like, here's the evidence, fucking fire him. Remember we did this with Mike Norvell. We were like, look, he can't develop talent. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And then they're like, they suck. Again, we can see talent. That's what we want to be known for. Great takes, being correct. We might be early, but fuck, we gonna be correct. And if we're wrong, hey, that's on me. Here's how I saw it. And at least you see how we got there. But I mean, geez, this is 20 years of fuck ups by John Henry. He stopped spending. He stopped caring. He started investing money in the racing, and now he's winning in racing. He's sucking the Penguins dry, and he put in a little bit for Crosby's last go around. What happens when all those guys are gone?
And even
Ticket
then,
prices for them are jacked up too.
for the Penguins, it's like you're just like barely getting by with what that team is too.
We're barely a playoff team. They did just enough to put you in the playoffs, give you hope because you'll come back next year. And that's their formula. Their formula now is to do enough to maybe get in the playoffs or be like, oh, we're so close, we just need one free agent. And then we let somebody walk, we put in somebody new, we gas him up. We say, oh, we've got somebody ready for this. We don't need all that. You're going to keep coming back. We're just going to give you enough to keep you hooked. It honestly feels like we have a drug addiction. Like I'm just getting enough to where I'm keeping this going. Like it's ruining, not actually ruining my life, But it feels like I need to go to rehab for the Red Sox at this point. And with that, I feel like that's everything that I have. We already posted the video. We went probably 20 minutes into this. I think it's time to pivot to the injury epidemic. Yeah, another thing that I'm sad to see in baseball is the injuries. I highlighted big names, really three, but one's a pivot, or like a pivot. The number one name I want to talk about is Francisco Lindor. I mean, he has a left calf strain that put him in a walking boot for a week, and I mean, he'll be reevaluated in 3 weeks. And I think it's weird because Juan Soto just came off the IL due to his own calf injury. The Mets team is already struggling. Not saying that Francisco Lindor was carrying them by any means, but I mean, we're hearing a lot of negative things about Francisco as soon as, you kind of see the team not doing so hot. A lot of them are saying that he's not the leader we think he is. And a lot of the old teammates from the Indians days were saying, Francisco's just not that leader. He's not the guy you think he is. He just wants to go up, do his thing, and then that's that. Like, leave him alone. So putting him in this big market, airing it out, putting the spotlight on him, not great. Juan Soto, he'll be back. We'll see how well his calf looks. JT Realmuto out with a foot injury. He did avoid a lengthy stint on the IL injury on the injured list after taking a foul ball to the foot in the first inning of a game. His x-rays did come back negative, so nothing broken. Saves him. I mean, a foot fracture is months, especially all the little bones in there. Horrible. And then Sonny Gray, we saw on Patriots Day, the hamstring issue. He did walk off the mound, was immediately put on the 15-day. And we saw Tyler Samaniego get called up from AAA. He struck out the side and then sent him back down because they needed more pitching depth. But I would say out of Francisco Lindor, JT Realmuto, and Sonny Gray, which injury has the biggest impact on their team? All three teams not performing well at all.
I think when you look at it for the Mets, are you talking about the three teams you mentioned or just in general?
Yeah. The three teams, the Mets, the Phillies, and the Red Sox. JT, Francisco, Sonny Gray. What's the biggest injury that impacts the team?
I think when you look at it, I think it's the Mets and Lindor. I think Lindor and the calf is probably a bigger issue than they probably will realize just because, he's shut down, will be in a boot and will be shut down for 3 weeks and they're already in the middle of this skid. Lindor's been at the top of your bats for how many years now? He's been the most consistent guy for years since he's been there, since he got from Cleveland. New York media is New York media. I want to talk about a guy that, you mentioned three guys. I want to talk about a guy that's probably a sneaky big hit to a team depending on the severity of the issue. Is Pete Fairbanks of the Marlins. The Marlins right now are currently in second in the NL East. This happened yesterday, Hunter. According to Today, this is the report from Today, Fairbanks described the issue that forced him out of Monday's 5-4 loss to the Dodgers as numbness in his pitching hand. Potential reoccurrence of the nerve issue that sidelined him in April 2024 with the Rays. Just a lot of diminished sensation, Fairbanks said after the game. Felt like any movement on the wrist would exacerbate just loss of sensation in the index finger. So we'll see where it goes and how to work on it. Now, to me, Fairbanks has been a big reason for the Marlins' success not getting screwed out of late game situations as the closer. But if this is a bigger piece of the pie in terms of the wrist and the nerves, we're not just talking about a 15-day IL stint potentially. And if that happens, that's a big hit to the Marlins in the bullpen for the severity of the season that, you're going to have to rely on a guy that you're not trusting as much. I think that's a sneaky, hey, keep an eye on this. This could maybe be a bigger problem than I think people maybe realize.
Yeah, with the nerve injury like that, I'm interested to see if that's coming from the elbow that stems down. It could be an upper back issue, especially if it's a spinal injury or something like that. Say he has, a prior car accident. He might have a herniated disc that shoots down and radiates into his hand. That could be something that it could be. So figuring out if it is wrist, elbow, or back is going to be the first thing. If it's something that they could just do, you know, wouldn't be maybe an injection in there, loosen it up. It could be something where it's burning the nerves off of doing a quick surgery like that, seeing if he's okay with not having certain nerves in there so it doesn't flare up and it doesn't have that feeling. Or if it is, something in the elbow, that's his moneymaker. I mean, thank God he got that contract already and he's made millions because that might be the last contract he signs if it is that elbow. I mean, Pete's a cool dude. He's massive human being. If you've ever sat next to him, kind of scary, like big eyes, very intense, but very very kind guy. I wish him nothing but the best, but hopefully it's nothing too severe. But that'll be a bummer for the Marlins, who are playing fantastic right now. All the young guys are just firing. So that's a
They're a
killer.
sneaky great team. Let's talk about some contenders, Hunter. I think we're starting to see. Obviously, at the end of May is probably when we'll start to see like some real separation out of the pack.
Yeah.
A lot of teams aren't in midseason form. Some of these guys are still trying to find their footing. But like I think we're starting to see the divisions kind of shake out the way they're going to. Now I'm not going to say the rest of this year because obviously a team can get on a 15-game winning streak and you can flip your season around basically with
Yeah.
that. But
Saw
like,
the Guardians came back down,
yeah,
15, 20 games from the Tigers, and they ended up taking the division.
but like, I want to start biasly in the NL Central because I think this division is probably maybe the biggest surprise in all of baseball. Maybe like
Yeah,
because every team's above 500. You know who's dead last in that division above 500
Milwaukee.
is Milwaukee. So Pittsburgh, who you called it, they're still your pick to win the division, but we thought they were going to be better than advertised, right? But I still had them being like not there.
I love that you're still giving me credit for that. That makes me very happy.
I'm gonna be hey until it doesn't.
Until they suck.
Yeah, until I see, you know, them below 500, they have a shot right now. But then you have the Cardinals, who are 16 and 13. Now, granted, they're not gonna be a good team come July, right? In terms of the bullpen piece. We're like playing with house money. I'm happy we're 3 wins above 500, but I'm also
I
waiting for the
wish we were
drop off
there.
point. But then you look at the Cubs and the Reds, I think are the biggest standouts. And the Reds are led by the guy we've talked about, Sal Stewart, potential rookie, like front runner for rookie of the year, maybe clubhouse guy for MVP in the NL right now. Like, this guy's doing it all for the Reds. He's a big part of the offense and what he's able to do. Ellie De La Cruz is starting to like kind of get into a rhythm. He's got 10 home runs, batting nearly 300. Excuse me here. But Sal Stewart's batting 290. I would love the rest of the lineup to come up a little bit in terms of average because you got a lot of guys in the hundreds. But like these guys in the pitching has really been phenomenal for the Reds. Rhett Lauder has come on strong as we talked about. Chase Burns has a low ERA. They're gonna get Hunter Green back at some point, right? Andrew Abbott's been, he's consistent, and Pagan's got you 6 saves. But like, I think this is probably how we're gonna see the NL Central maybe stay for like the next 2 months until Milwaukee maybe gets hot, Mizorowski gets it going, and Priester gets healthy, and Woodruff gets going. But like, the Cubs are hot, the Reds are legit, and the Pirates, we've seen what they can do in glimpses, but if they put it together, Hunter, this isn't a crazy thing to say like the Brewers may be in the bottom half of this division come July.
Love it. I think when I think of contenders that are showing out, obviously I think of the Dodgers immediately. I mean, the whole world talks about them. We know what they are. Do we expect this? Yes. Move on. I think the biggest surprise to me is the Braves. Like,
Yeah.
there's a reason why I threw this thing. I'm not a real Braves fan. Did go to the game. Had to get an Acuna jersey. I wanted the red one. They didn't have it in my size. But the Braves look like a machine out there. I mean, they're doing all this while I feel like everyone else in the division is they're trying to get healthy. The Braves are taking full advantage of everyone else being injured.
And no Schwellenbach, no Waldrop.
No, they're injured too, and they're taking full advantage of it. Like they are gonna lose. Like they have such a deep starting depth that like they lose the two guys you mentioned. Like they don't even need Spencer Strider to be the ace that they like. They have such good depth. Grant Holmes has been awesome for them. AJ Smith Schuster, he's been amazing. Like just they've been so good and so fun to watch again that I love that they're taking full advantage of this because come the dog days of the summer, expect the other teams who are down now to come back up, but Atlanta, keep winning now. Get those games in early because especially whenever you play divisional games early on, it just means that much more later on. You're not in the position of we need this game. It's if we win this, we win the division, rather than a team that's like we have to win this today. Like we need to go all out. It's just a different mindset. When I think AL, the West is still very tight. We didn't expect the Angels to be as well as they are. I mean, Cy Young contender, we talked about
12,
Soriano
12 and
last game.
18.
Yeah, I mean, but they're still there. Like everyone, I think, is above 500 on that. No,
No, everyone. There's only one team above 500 in the AL West.
yeah, they're all clumped together.
Yeah.
You have the Astros who are trying to get better. Christian Walker's finally hitting in that ballpark. That's something I expected last year and was actually shocked he didn't. Jordan's been insane for them this year. The Rangers were starting to pick things up. Need Nate Evaldi, DeGrom starting to look good. And
Hey,
then
I watched Mackenzie Gore the other day, Hunter, at the Rangers athletics game. Heat. He's got high velocity. Guys are swinging and missing. He walked out with I think 6 Ks through 5 innings. First, like he looks good, man. And if he can put it together, and same with Evaldi, and Evaldi can get back to what we know. That's a good looking team right there in Texas.
even the A's, I love what the A's did. That good young core, Shea Langelier, Brent Rooker, who is now coming off the IL. You have Nick Kurtz, who is yet to kind of come into his own, but it's sophomore slump. To be expected. Same with Jacob Wilson. They will figure it out. I think they hit the world on fire last year. The world figured them out. They have to come back with a counterpunch, and that's what a big leaguer does. So them trying to figure out how to hit that counter punch while still being within themselves, once they figure that out, I mean this team is very dangerous. And I think the most obvious contender that's doing their thing is the Yankees. And that pivots us to the next topic of the Yankees bats. They are starting to warm up. I think they started hot, then they went ice cold. And I love making fun of the Yankees when they're ice cold, but they are no longer cold as ice. I mean, them boys are heating up. They've got a 2-game lead on the division. Ben Rice, your go-to guy, need to have in the draft. Looks much better than we expected, and you had high hopes for him. He is exceeding those, and then some. Judges still judge. The pitching is doing their thing, especially with Max Fried out there, looking like the Cy Young contender that they know he can be. They are winning despite missing Carlos Rendon and Garrett Cole. Rendon's expected to be back soon. Garrett Cole's a couple weeks after him. And they just sent down Luis Gil because he's not performing. They have just an embarrassment of riches. Ryan Weathers is starting to get into his own, pitch very well. I think the only thing that makes me scratch my head is they brought back up the Martian, who looked horrible in AAA. I don't know if you looked at his highlights. He still can't field out there. He still can't field the position. You got to put him as a DH. He is a liability in the outfield. And the latest news is I've never seen anyone come off a like a stint and get demoted. Anthony Volpe has been in AAA for a while. Yeah, so they sent him to Double A. And I was like, "There's no way that's true." And I looked at it and I was crying laughing. He just can't hit high velocity or elite sliders. Anything elite breaking away, he can't fall off of it. Send him to Double A where he's not gonna see an elite slider, but he'll see a solid one. Maybe the elite fastball with inaccuracies he might see, but he definitely won't see a pitcher with both of those. Get his confidence up. Stop doing the damn torpedo bat. Learn how to hit a fucking ball using your grandfather or your forefather's bat. I mean, it's the torpedo bat's a joke. And honestly, I think he's a 240 hitter. That's what he is. That's what he's always going to be. I don't care if he's in Double A, Triple A, or the bigs. It doesn't change the fact that is what he is. Your thoughts on the Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to me in terms of fantasy baseball, you're enjoying your riches right now. Ben Rice listen, I'm rocking Ben Rice in the catcher designation with Vlad Guerrero in the one spot. That's nice, man. Ben Rice currently number 2 in position rank. I believe that's for first baseman, but one of the best scorers in baseball. When I think about the Yankees, it is an embarrassment of riches. Like, they're doing this stuff, and guess who they're going to get back eventually? Garrett Cole. How much more better are they going to get with Garrett Cole? You know? Like, it's an embarrassment. Like in Schittler has been like he's been impressive for them. He is truly developed into the number like because Rendon's on the IL and Cole's on the IL. Schittler is the number two and he's dominating his starts. Like I believe what was it? He went up against Boston on Thursday,
He
buddy.
shoved 8 innings.
8 innings, 4 hits, one earned, 2 runs, 5 Ks. Kansas City shoved 6 innings, 1 run, 0 earned, 6 Ks, 3 hits. Got a little banged up against the Rays in the Athletics, but Mariners early April 6.16 in a third inning, 2 hits, no runs, no earned, 7 Ks. Punching guys out, gets a little beat up a little bit, but it's nothing that you lose your mind on. But this guy is starting to break out. Last 7 days, his ERA is a 1.13. He's shoving and he's developed into this number two. Will Warren has done his job, right? When you look at it, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned, 6 Ks. Kansas City, 2 earned, 5 hits, 11 Ks. Like, he goes up against the Angels and give up no earned in a game that was 11-10. Excuse me. He only went 3 2/3, but still, the Yankees have a plethora and they're using it until they get their guys back. And then I'm interested to see what happens with the guys of like Warren and Cam here. I mean, Ryan Weathers has done what we kind of like expected him to do a little bit. 2 earned, 4 Ks in his last outing, 8 Ks the second to previous outing here. But the Yankees, man, have it all going right now. They got it all going. The bats are hot. It's going to be hard to slow them down. It's a really well-run lineup. They have good management, and obviously we got to see what happens as the season continues. But they're right up there. The pitching has come through in wonders.
Yeah, I think that pivots us to power rankings. I mean, we're a month into the season, and based off our projections, dude, the Mets and the Phillies and the Red Sox, all three made us look horrible.
Yeah,
I mean, Mets and the Phillies, fourth and fifth in the division, Red Sox dead last. We pretty much touched on it when we said the contenders, but it's always funny to look back and we're like, oh, preseason, here's what we think, and then a month in, three of our teams are horrible. But baseball's 6, 7 months, give us some time. And we'll do a monthly update on where we stand when it comes to that. Enough of the negative. I want to talk about somebody who's been outstanding, and he wasn't anyone's homer pick of the week. Really hasn't been getting the love that he deserves, and that's Chace Dollander. And the question is we haven't seen a pitcher like this since Ubaldo Jimenez. Can Chace Dollander survive Coors? Now he's a record of 3-2, an ERA of 2.25, 40 strikeouts and 7 appearances this season, but he's been dominant. He's a sneaky Cy Young contender who is having his breakout year. I believe this is his second year. I don't believe he's qualified for Rookie of the Year candidate. I think he's had enough. I think he pitched quite a bit last year, if I'm not mistaken. Got hit pretty well last year. I think he's figured out how to pitch in course. And it's funny because he relies on 6 pitches, so he's a fastball, sinker, slider, changeup, curveball, sweeper guy. Now, Coors, because you are so high up in the air, the air quality is different. The gravity is different. It's harder to breathe up there. You need oxygen, which means because of that, your velocity actually holds longer. So it retains its speed because that gravity is not there to slow it down. So if you pump in 99, that thing looks like 104. It is hot on you, and usually what works there is going to be a fastball, a splitter, something that drops and has that good rotation, or a gyro ball because of the center of gravity. It's not necessarily the spin of it. Things that don't work are sinkers. So I find it funny that he's throwing a sinker about 20% of the time. It doesn't have that good run like a good sinker would have. It's a little dry, but it's kind of like a faster changeup. Like the grip isn't slowing it down. It's just the air quality. Sliders typically don't break as much unless you're Adam Ottavino and you just have insane slider depth, and when it shortens up, it's still insane. Good curveball that he mixes in. Curveball sweeper he mixes in. I guess he probably throws those more on the road. That sinker curve sweeper is probably going to be what's thrown there, whereas the four seam changeup maybe occasional sliders, curveball to get you over there. But I just love what he's doing so far, and I felt the need to just say that. I mean, 88 percentile in K percentage, 73% in uh, walk, barrel percentage is 38%. Whiff is in the 78%, chase percent's in the 62. So Chase is down, but that fastball velo's in the 98th percentile. He's maxing out on the fastball, which we just touched upon. What do you need in cores? Velo. And then you get me a good changeup that just drops and comes off the table. That difference, I mean, a little get me over a couple other pitches, but that's somebody that I felt like we need to give a spotlight to.
I completely agree with you. I don't know much about Chace Dollander, but I learned a lot just now.
Well, hopefully I can give you the same thing with our next topic. I know you're not big into prospects, but there's three that I want to highlight for you. And number one has to be Travis Bazzano. I know you know him from MLB The Show. We've seen him playing for his hometown of Australia, his home country or his native country over in the WBC. He finally gets the call tonight and will be playing for the Guardians. This was the number one prospect in all of MILB or all the pipelines. I mean, he is fast. This dude is a dog. I think it's funny that he does come from the land down under because that was his walk-up song. I'll give you his stats right here. Travis Bazzana's grade, his BA grade, scouting point, the hit was a 60, the power is a 55, run is a 60, field is 50, and the arm is 45. So that's a 20/80 grade, which basically means if you score at a 50, you're going to be at average. So average fielding, slightly below average arm. He's a second baseman, so that shouldn't affect too much. The 60 run means he's an above average runner. It's a guy who can steal bags, a good first to third on a ball to right field. Wouldn't have any issues with that. Power being 55 is slightly above the average, and the contact rate is 60, so that's good. You're looking at maybe I believe breaks down to like a 260 hitter is what they're expecting him to be, which in today's day and age with all the swing and whiff, it's not bad at all. Especially when I get my second baseman up there who's got a little bit of legs, like his control at the plate. I think he'll be very successful with the Guardians, and I like the young surge that they have. And you've got a guy like Jose Ramirez to kind of show him the ropes. I really enjoy what they're doing over there. I'll highlight somebody in Double A for you. Franklin Arias. He's a Red Sox Double A shortstop. He is absolutely smoking the ball. Out of the whole season stats, he's batting 407 in Double A. I've seen enough of Trevor Story. Give me Franklin Arias. 7 homers already, 17 RBIs, 1346 OPS. He hit 8 home runs in all of last season. Oh, and by the way, he's got a wicked glove. And the last one is going to be Kelly Alcantara. Now, he struggled in the major leagues last year, but this year he is the MILB leader in home runs with 9. He is average, is not where you want it to be. He's a big swing and miss guy, but in today's day and age, it's pretty much home run or strikeout. This is just the next one. Next is going to be trade talks in April. We jumping the gun when we jump to the segment?
Hold on, I want to talk about one guy.
Okay. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Who are you
I begin my Mr. Cade Anderson of the Seattle Mariners. Left-handed pitcher, currently down in Little Rock. Arkansas Travelers, worked for them for a summer. Yeah, get ready, buddy.
It's getting hot in here. You're talking prospects to me?
Yeah. He's pitched in 4 games, Hunter. He's gotten the decision in only 1, but it's minor league baseball. But right now in Double A in the 2026 season, he's got a .48 ERA, 18 2/3 innings pitched, only has given up 9 hits, and has 30 strikeouts already. In 4 games played, he already has 30. He's shoving. He's getting what he's looking for. The average that he faces, that he only gives up, the batting average is 143. The whip is .70. His last 2 games here, his last 4 games, excuse me. 4 innings, trying to find the case. 4 innings, 6 Ks. Second start, 5 innings, 11 strikeouts, Hunter, in 5 innings of work. Then his third start, he also gave up no hits, no runs in that 11K outing. His third outing, he went 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 5 Ks. His last outing, 4 2/3, 1 hit, no earned. and 8 Ks. So he's shoving. He's in the Mariners' top 30. He's 17 overall in MLB's top 100. I don't know exactly what number he is up in the Mariners organization, but I would assume he's the second or third guy behind Colt Emerson there. So that's a guy I wanted to bring up because he's a little close to home. I'm trying to see him next time I'm in Little Rock. When I go to a Travelers game, I need to make sure my guy Cade Anderson's on the mound. I would be pretty bummed if he's not on the mound out there in Little Rock.
Yeah, no, I like Cade Anderson a lot. He had Tommy John coming out of high school, still managed to go to LSU. I mean, a 6'2 lefty. He's got good velo. I mean, those don't grow on trees. Fastball is 55 above average. Curveball, slider, mix, both at 60s, which means they are above average. So that breaking ball is good for him. Still working on a change. And control is above average. BA grade has him at a 60 with average risk, which puts him at roughly, if they were to project him as a starter, would put him as a 3. But I mean, he is over in Seattle where they have a plethora of pitching. So if they can tap into that talent, that's one of the few places I would want to be if I was a pitcher. I'll tell you one place I don't want to be. It's in the Red Sox system right now.
He's 21 years old. He has plenty of time to get up there. But yeah, that's a guy, he's crushing it right now down in Little Rock and in Double-A. Enjoy that.
Yeah. That pivots us to trade talks in April. Now, trade talks in April can mean two things, and we can touch on both. Are we talking about MLB trading, or are we talking about fantasy trading? We're going to do both. I think the easiest for us is going to be fantasy trades. And I think the best recommendation I can do is we give you guys on Mondays the weekly waiver report. Who you need to be going after picking up and snag those guys. Ride the hot wave. Watch their stats go up. They'll fly up in the rankings. Everything's up and down. Grab them and say you need a better starting pitcher. Take like a 3 pitcher. A guy who is, not a Brian Wu, but go ahead and slide in a Logan Gilbert and put those two together and send them in a package deal for somebody's number 2. Or go in and just straight up put those two together for somebody who's slumping, who you project is going to do really well. Like Roman Anthony, somebody that I project that's going to break out of the slump eventually. Jack Caglione could be somebody for you guys. Now, granted, he hasn't produced in the big league, so I wouldn't necessarily take that risk. For that guy, it's more of a show me. But if you've got a pitcher that's on fire and you love Ben Rice, take your first base, take probably your utility guy and one of these guys, or a pitcher and one of these guys that we send out and ship it over for Ben Rice, and get your guy. I think April, the only thing I concern at this point is some people may still look at where they were drafted in. I took, Ben Rice in the 3rd round, and you're trying to trade me some guy that you took in the 7th round and somebody who you just picked up yesterday. That might be something for correlation, but if you've got a guy like that in your league, you should know not to trade with him because that guy is going to hold that all year long. It's going to be trade deadline, and they're going to be like, well, like last year, we had a guy that was like, well, Jordan was my first overall pick. I said, you can keep him. If you want my first overall pick, who's got 1,000 more points than Jordan does this year, you can hold on to him. You got him. And that cost him the league. And it's okay to say no. If you don't like it, just say no, man. If he puts a table in the offer and your gut tells you no, don't do it. I mean, I've turned down a bunch of trades just because I don't like it. But sometimes you got dummies in your league. Send him that dummy trade. You'd be surprised how many bite. And all it takes is one, and you've improved your team. Also, you send an offer, wait for their counteroffer. If they just tell you no, just be like, yo, what do you think is good value for them? Because everyone has different values for it. And if you guys line up, or you have more value on one guy than they do, or vice versa, figure out that middle ground and see where you go from there. But Jacob, what advice do you have on fantasy trades?
I think you got to just establish what are your needs first and foremost. Like, can it, obviously with trades, my first question is, can I address it in waivers? And if my answer is no, then I will assess draft stock. You also want to get ahead of the curve of, like, if you got a guy you know is not going to get there but has name value. For instance, I'm not saying I'm doing this, but, give me 2 more weeks or 3 weeks. I may be singing a different tune on this guy. A guy like Roman Anthony, I'm not going to say sucker a guy, but you can get good value for Roman Anthony to replenish either an outfield spot, or let's say you lose a big guy down the line, right? Let's say, you try and hit on some dudes in pitching and they just haven't panned out, right? you can use Roman Anthony to go get kind of a sneaky ad in terms of pitching, right? Now, what that guy may be, you got to determine. But, like, you can look at a guy like Tyler Glasnow, right? He's pitching phenomenal, but, like, to some people, he's not. They get worried about the injuries, right? Can you find a guy and be like Roman Anthony? Maybe toss in another guy. Maybe toss in, someone who's a waiver ad, who's on fire, who's got great numbers in the last week. Tie him in with Anthony. Maybe you can get a 2-for-1 for Glasnow. Now, people listening may be like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Listen, you got some idiots.
Who would?
You got because of the name, it's name value. Name value. We're all infatuated with Roman Anthony and his potential. Everyone's sleeping on the fact that Tyler Glasnow is the 5th best pitcher in fantasy baseball right now. Last 3 outings, 11, 24, 33. So, like,
you have those a dumbass Red Sox fan in your league, for sure.
Yeah. Like, those are the things I'm kind of thinking. I always like to try and address things via waivers, depending on your league, because I think that's where you can find your best bang for your buck is, hey, I just did this. Literally did this today of, like, Michael King is doing really good. He's got 86 total points, but it's not so much the number. It's the consistency. 17, 18, 18 for me. Like, he's on the Padres. They win a ton of games. Dropped him for Matthew Boyd, but it's like if I wanted to pair Michael King with, like, a Bo Bichette, who in his last 5 games has gone 8-2-2, -1, 8 in this scoring that we have, and maybe try and elevate my pitching up on the back end a little bit, I don't hate doing something like that. Or I can go big with King and Roman Anthony and try and get, again, a Tyler Glasnow, right? I think when it comes to fantasy baseball, people get too infatuated with names. I also think fantasy baseball, you got to be a little bit more cutthroat. Now, granted, I'm not the biggest trader, and when I am, I'm a big stickler. Like, the other day, Dom tries to, like, send me trades for, like, Samuel Basallo and some other dudes that I just, like, know I wasn't gonna, like, they weren't ever going to be in my in my thing. So, like, it's just like you play smart, you play what you need. I think it's early. If you're in a league that aggressively trades, like everyone's trading, do it. The name of the game is points, right? Especially if you're in a league, if you're in a points league, the name of the game is points. How many points can you put up in a single week? If it's a heavy trade league, do it. But I think most of what you can alleviate on your team is in waivers. But if you want to go get a guy like Sal Stewart, you're going to pay a hefty price. So the question then becomes via trade, how much does the guy I trade for make my team better if I give up these other players? That's what you have to ask yourself. So if someone, I'll pull up Hunter's team here in this league that we're in together. If he was, he has Bobby Witt, right? Bobby Witt, not doing bad, but not doing, I think, what he wanted Bobby Witt to be in terms of the price point he spent, right? You spend a first.
It's so early for Bobby Witt to get moved. I think Nick Kurtz would be more of that pivot. Like, I'd be more willing to move on from Nick Kurtz, who was,
So let's use Nick Kurtz for example. He's 11th. He's primary first base.
Top 50. Jaron Duran would be somebody that I would be willing to move on.
So you got Jaron Duran, outfielder, right? Batting, not great. But, you can get him for, if you're Hunter in comparison to my team. Not saying we'll do this, Hunter. But, if Hunter was trying to alleviate what, let's just use second base as an example. Xavier Edwards has done great points wise.
Yeah, and Hunter has Jazz fucking Chisholm.
Yeah. Let's say
so Hunter's looking for a new second baseman pretty actively.
So if he was hey, Jaron Duran for Luke Keeschel, if depending on your outfield needs, that's not a bad trade to make. Via the second baseman position is quite thin. If you're thin on outfielders, Duran gives you the steal bonus when he's on base. And if he gets better, and hopefully you got a bank on the Red Sox turning it around, that's not a bad ideal trade to make. For me, I got a bunch of really high quality guys on my bench, so I may look to either move on Pete Alonso or Bo Bichette and try and get another top pitcher because Freddie Peralta is just not getting the job done as my number 2.
He's been bad.
Luckily, I have Nolan McLean, so that's been great. I also have Chase Burns, who's done really well and consistent for me, but I need another guy who can go and get me 20 plus points an outing, like a Tarek Skubal level player. Not saying it's got to be Skubal exactly, but like I need a guy who can be kind of like that Chase Burns, that Nolan McLean, 18 points a game type of area for a guy like Peter. And with that,
Yeah, no,
Hunter,
I think you hit it
go
on the head with the waivers. I mean, I'm a big waiver guy. I I like picking up, in certain leagues it's uh, seven pickups minimum or maximum, I should say. With those, you always like you don't get every player that you wish you could.
yeah.
So like and I'm referring to the Yahoo League mostly.
Yeah,
I've
not
got a
definitely
couple
not this
Yahoo.
league because I'll get
No,
fucked in the
we have some
championship.
that are unlimited, and I try and be mindful that we did say that. So I'm not going up. I'm not picking up 21 players. Okay,
I know, I
if
know.
you
I just
have a
like
league like that, it's cutthroat. Like, dude, if you have a league of unlimited waivers, half your
abuse
league
it.
is going to quit. Abuse it. Like, especially if you are like picking up the number one and two pitcher of the day. You see two pitchers rolling today that you like. Make it part of, in the morning, whenever you go and walk in to go get your coffee. Dude, let's see who's on waivers. And if you see two pitchers that you like, two guys that have been on fire, but you didn't follow us until now, so you had no idea that you should be picking these people up. Those are make and break weeks. That's the difference between you winning for like 5 weeks and being the number one seed or the number two seed and you missing the playoffs. It really makes all the difference in the world paying attention year round. And if you listen to
Yeah.
this, you're a baseball sicko, so I know you're a 162 or you die hard to your team and you are on fantasy every morning with your coffee.
And here's the thing: people who say fantasy baseball is so hard, it's so long. You got to set up a lineup every day. Blah blah blah. Hunter, you know this. It takes 5 minutes.
It's
It
super
takes.
easy.
I go into work. Maybe my work don't hear this, but like I go into work, set up my stuff. I do my Wordle, do the Wordle, and then I go to ESPN. I make sure I take a look at my lineup. I may change some guys based on maybe matchup. If I'm like, ooh, he's not doing too hot against, like, he's going up against DeGrom tonight. Let's take him out. Let's put up a more fit. Like, it takes, and here's the thing, I'm not saying you got to scour waivers every single day,
It's
right?
not that deep.
It's not that deep. But maybe on like Wednesday or Thursday, when there's typically the in between of the first series of the week going into the weekend, take a look. Is there a guy that's hot? Is there a guy on waivers you're like, he's on waivers? Like right now, Hunter, I'm looking. Jordan Walker's on waivers, right? In our
Yeah,
league.
one of our leagues.
One of our leagues, right? And here's the thing about fantasy baseball. If you just check your lineup and be minimally active in your waivers, you're going to be in the playoffs just because you're going to get more points. Like I'm looking at, like you mentioned, Christian Walker. He's a great guy to pick up in leagues right now if he's available. Guys, you,
Ronda is a big name to go get. Yandy Diaz, you might have. If in the league you're looking at is a four-person league. That's why Jordan Walker's available. We have another league
no,
that
no,
is
no.
eight.
This is the
This is the
family
eight
league.
one.
This is 8 team.
My outfielders must be stacked then. I think I
You
picked
are.
up.
Your outfielders
Trout.
are nice. You have Trout, Delauder, and Tatis.
Yeah, I don't need. Yeah, don't need them.
And your bench is Duran, Devers, Schwarber.
Yeah. So Schwarber's hogging up an outfield or a DH spot for utility. Is that the one I have Zach Neto in?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why. Like I have dudes.
Um,
And I feel like the Red Sox, I've got an outfield log jam there. So for that, that's something that maybe
like
you
a
go and find the guy who is second to last or dead last and be like,
Dalton.
yo,
If you're in need of a catcher, Dalton Rushing is probably on waivers. A guy no one's heard of.
I
If you
mean,
haven't,
he's made a name of him now. I mean, he's the dickhead.
yeah, but like everyone thinks of the dot. Like we're talking casuals.
Yeah, I mean, Will Smith does play quite a bit. They do platoon. He doesn't get the same amount. I would say the best value would be Liam Hicks from the Mods.
Yeah,
He's a
he's
guy that
great.
plays damn near every day, and he's been insane. Like I've got a 14-man league. That's one that I feast in. I mean, if I can, and those are the ones that I enjoy, those deeper leagues where I can go and get, a Liam Hicks, and that wins me a league like a week. A Jordan Walker I pick up, and I just ride the hot wave. Chase Dollander and ride the hot wave. I just went and picked up Jonathan Aranda. I'm riding the hot wave. I already traded Christian Walker. I think I got him for one of the pitchers. I think I did it for Logan Gilbert.
Yeah, I
Or like
think
I
And here's the thing, you can keep an eye on pitching. Like if you're a team that needs to pick, like you have to play a reliever, Louis Varlander of the Blue Jays has kind of overtaken Jeff Hoffman's closer spot.
Yeah, and Hoffman got knocked down. They're rotating it between three guys. So he's one, if he wins the job, you look like a genius. Also, I tend with the relievers, I don't love the relievers, but what I personally do is I look for a starter, like a Parker, no, not Parker Missick, the other Guardians. He has starter and reliever. You go ahead and get you a Steven Matz who has starter and reliever on there. Use the reliever spots. If you don't have a top end closer, get it for a starter. That is a reliever.
And I think a key guy in that spot, maybe he's on waivers, but is Justin Robowski, if I'm pronouncing that right, of the Dodgers. Robleski. Last three outings, 26, 16, and 18 points. Granted, he had favorable matchups between the Mets, Rockies, and the Cubs. But just stuff to keep in mind. Fantasy baseball is kind of our bread and butter. We're typically, again, we said it before, we are typically in the championships against each other in other chips. Hunter's dropping waiver wire stuff. I'll probably have some more trade targets come late May. And yeah, ready for the quick nine, Hunter? The hammer nine?
Hammered questions? Oh,
Let's
yeah.
run it.
All right. You know what it is. Hammered questions. I'm going to fire it away. If you stutter, if you mess up, if you take too long to think, you got to drink. You're being lame. I finished my wine. I've got a beer. I'm gonna just drink for you. Question number one, and don't do that because my tummy kind of hurts. Now that the universal DH has been in effect for a while, do we love it or do we wish we would switch back and let the pitchers rake?
Nah, love the universal DH. I don't want to see pitchers hit.
What is the best attraction at the aquarium?
Dolphins or the Penguins.
Dolphins? I'm a penguin guy. That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
Penguins is the correct answer. Which Ben 10 alien is the best?
That's a real bias. Like I think
Shows you what kind of man you are.
I think the technical answer is forearms, but I was a big upgrade guy. I loved Upgrade because he could turn into anything. He can be whatever he wanted. Upgrade was my favorite guy, but I think the technical answer is forearms.
I think it's Burnout.
Yeah.
The
Fire
flame
guy.
Yeah, and I liked Ghostface.
Yeah, Ghost Freak. Yeah.
Ghost Freak. That's what it was.
Diamond Head's a close second for me. Diamond Head was pretty sick.
Yeah. I like that they kept making new aliens and kept going. That was a very underrated show. I know they say our age doesn't get a lot of cartoons. Ben 10, top 10 cartoon. I stand 10 toes down on that. All pun intended. If you could see any former player play, dead or alive, in person, who would it be?
Dead or alive?
Yeah, like a former player that I can't buy a ticket right now and go see. Who would it be? Front row, I get to watch him.
Mark McGwire in the home run race. The summer of the home run race. That's probably electric. That or Babe Ruth. I need to see if this guy lived up to the hype. My own eyes.
I need to see this bad fuck actually.
Yeah.
Sleep with or without socks?
Without. You're a freak if you sleep with your socks on.
79 teams, too many, just enough, or too much for March Madness?
Dyslexic. I think it's too much. 64, technically 68, but 64 is right. I'm not interested in seeing 14 and 16 Cal play 17 and 18 Arizona State. I'm not interested in that. They're touting it as like, oh, it's a win for the little guy. You're just gonna shove more bad down my throat, and I think it's an embarrassment to college basketball.
Yeah. The dyslexia joke hurt me. So here's a tough question for you. Aroldis Chapman passed Goose Gossage for number 2, or for the second most strikeouts by reliever. Who is number 1?
Who was the pitcher?
Aroldis Chapman passed Goose Gossage for the second most strikeouts by a reliever. Who is in first?
Is it not Rivera?
It is not.
Have I used this guy in MLB The Show?
You have not.
Is he a big name that I should know?
He's not. I mean, he's the number 1 strikeout reliever and has held this for almost 100 years.
Cy Young?
It is not Cy Young. He was a starter.
No idea then.
Hoyt Wilhelm.
No shot.
Hoyt. I don't know why. I don't know why we stopped naming our kids Hoyt, but I'm glad we did. It will be expanded to two new cities, and you get to choose those two cities. What two would you pick?
Nashville is
Okay.
one. They're already going to Vegas, so I won't pick Vegas like some other leagues. Nashville, and I'm gonna rock Charlotte. Let's give North Carolina a baseball team. Like
I
Ryan,
think both those teams have AAA affiliates in them, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
The
but
Sounds,
the Sounds and the Knights.
Knights.
But I think you can go there, Charlotte or Nashville. Underrated spot, Salt Lake, where the Mammoth and the Jazz are.
I'll do a 8B question. If you could own one of those teams, what city are you picking?
Nashville, 100%. Most opportunity for money.
I'm thinking different. I'll give you my answer to this. San Juan, Puerto Rico. That's where I'm expanding. We saw what the WBC looks like. I'm going to put in a stadium facility and I'm getting a pipeline. Every kid from that area and that region is going to grow up wanting to be part of my team, my facility. And over there, everyone just rallies around what rapper is wearing what other hat. Imagine if it could be my team. I got a whole fan base. Who doesn't love that? Every Puerto Rican is going to be wearing my team and supporting them. It's a huge fan base. I'm really the Latin community could tap into that. If you're talking about money, that's where I'm at. Last question. Worst ballpark in all of MLB, and there is only one right answer.
It's Tropicana.
It is Tropicana Field. That place fucking blows. I was there on Saturday, and I had
It's
to
so
leave.
sad. Like
I had to leave by the fifth inning. Like one, I could never get comfortable in the chair. Like the chairs are so uncomfortable. I'm sitting there facing the center fielder. So if I want to watch the game, I quite literally have got to do this. And like it's fucking hot in there now. And because it's parked indoors, it's muggy, it's nasty, it sucked in
sticky.
there. And yeah, like I'm not a big like I normally don't hate the trop because it's nice and cold. There's good food in center. I can chill and hang out, and you can move around in there and you're not sweating, dude. It for whatever reason miserable that day. It was I hated every minute of it. I left in the fifth. I didn't leave games early. I left in the fifth.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible ballpark. I don't hate the idea of a stadium in Florida because the summers get real rainy. So that's really and it gets hot. So like two reasons to really do it because it rains all the time in the summer. But like it's such a bad ballpark and the fact that like upper management's like this is great. It's like dude, you're stuck in the 90s. Like the Raymond thing like look is really weird in that little corner when you first walk in. It's not a sexy.
Raymond's Clubhouse.
Yeah.
They actually got rid of that now. It's like one little nick in there. I'm glad they got rid of it because it looked like you walked into a McDonald's playing.
It just feels too whimsical and it's like you got like the branding hadn't been updated in years. Like it just is like a sad sack of a ballpark. But
It's not even a
then,
ballpark, like it's just a baseball field.
flip side, let's go best baseball experience, not stadium, because I think both of our answers would be Fenway, but like best baseball experience, top to bottom.
Mm,
You have the most fun at. Obviously, you're biased to Boston, but like Boston doesn't do anything crazy with their baseball like experience.
I mean, you have Sweet Caroline.
Yes,
Fenway, it's just got an aura around it that like you just can't beat. They play dirty water after they win. Everyone does the seventh inning stretch. The sounds of it. I mean, hearing the hot dog guy, like Fenway is a great experience. The Trop is horrible. Atlanta was cool, but the game I went to Atlanta, the Braves won 23-1 against the Pirates. So it was firework night, and then they had to keep shooting off fireworks because of all the home runs, and they broke so many records. Like that game was insane. I've been to Busch 2 or 3 times. We sat in the outfield for all you can eat and drink.
it
That
was
was
too hot.
amazing.
It was too hot to do that one.
It was so hot, but even then, like, we still ate and drank through it. And then the next time we went, we got pissed on. It was raining and we had to leave. We had to leave early because the game was just called. So we went to the bars across the street. I feel like I missed it. Oh, the Pirates. The Pirates, we did the stadium tour, and that was really nice. The people that worked there were awesome. And then the game itself, I mean, the scenery is beautiful. It was deemed the number one ballpark for a reason. I mean, that place is amazing. They've got a, oh, they've got a sandwich shop thing. pierogi, not pierogi, bro. It's like pierogi,
Permenti,
pepperoni,
Permanti,
huh?
Permanti.
Fancy, bro. Those sandwiches are so good.
Can I?
I couldn't stop eating.
An underrated one, I think, and it's because I've been to several of them now that I can form this opinion. Rangers games are great experiences. Two reasons. It's Texas, so when it's hot, going into an ice cold stadium is great. It is very big, so you obviously know it's a very different experience than like the Trop where it's like compact dome. This is a big, airy space. The food there, great. I got the walking taco the other day. Great. Bang for your buck. $12. You get Doritos, chili, queso, jalapenos in a bag. Good serving. Fills you right up. But it's just like that. The PA announcer's great. Like, you get the murmur of the crowd. There's people, the seats are nice. They're roomy. You can watch the game with ease. There's not really a bad seat in the house. The fireworks come down when they hit a home run. It gets loud in there. They play really deep into like kind of the throwbacky baseball stuff of the old Ranger Stadium and the history of it. I think it's an underrated experience. And when you are lucky enough to get the roof opened, that's another great experience because that means it's a beautiful sunny day. It's like 75 degrees. It's not too hot. So I think it's a win-win on both sides if you go to a Rangers game. The only downside, I think, to a Rangers game is like you got to maybe park in Timbuktu and walk like a half mile. But it's a great experience. Evan's gone with me twice now. You can go up to the Budweiser Terrace. You can also, Budweiser Terrace, you can do a barbecue plate with 2 sides for $16. Like, where else are you going to get? Like, barbecue shops charge you more. So,
The Dickie's barbecue here charges me more for that.
and they give you good servings. You get beer. The beer's good. I mentioned Karbach, Love Street Blonde. That's a great beer. So yeah, I think the Rangers is an underrated experience. I think if I had to say if I had to say a non-Tropicana stadium, Kauffman is kind of bad.
Really?
Kauffman
I want to go to Kaufman.
Kauffman is not sexy. It's cool, but
The
like,
waterfalls and everything? That's not. I guess the scenery beyond it is like
but it's just highway.
Yeah,
But then,
it's highway and it's
like
flat.
getting to your seats is like it's not like Busch where like going to your seats you have the skyline, you get this aura, they have the brick feel, right? You can see the stadium, like you can get under some cover. It's kind of just like concrete. Now, granted, I haven't been there in several years, but like I remember going to Royals games and I was like, I'm not like, it doesn't impress me the way I think of Busch. Now, Busch, I'm biased. I think is a great experience because you get the skyline, the fans are great. You get the hospitality at Ballpark Village. You can go right in from the ballpark. The beer is easy to get to. They have great beer selection because you're in the city of beer. But like the Royal Stadium just like did not impress me. I think one stadium we need to go to, Hunter. Maybe it's not this year, but next year we got to go to Camden. We got to go to Camden. Who is crawling back there, bro?
Spotted.
Who's crawling back there? Get up.
Yeah.
The Wild are beating the Stars right now, so I'm not happy.
Susie, you care to give any final thoughts? Actually, no. We'll ask you this question. Here, hop on. You shouldn't have come out then. You fell asleep without it. Put this in your ear.
Just so everyone knows, Hype Beast is not that short, but I caught her
pretty short.
She is short, but she's not like midget sized.
Thank you for the clarification.
Well, you were just like waddling over, so we just had the people on YouTube a little clarification.
All right, the question is worst ballpark of all the MLB.
Probably the Trop.
Yeah, Trop's bad.
We said the Trop, and then he said out of all the games, like all the stadiums you've gone to, what was the best experience ballpark-wise? Scenery, sights, sound,
food, vibes,
people that work there.
Probably Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh?
That's what Hunter said as well.
Yeah, I thought Pittsburgh was really nice.
Mine outside of Boston, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, he said the caveat couldn't be Boston or
I couldn't do
Busch.
St. Louis. Yeah.
You've been to the Trop, you've been to Wrigley,
Mm-hmm.
you've been to the Pirates, you've been to the Red Sox.
I've been to
Braves.
a Phillies. Phillies is a really underrated experience.
Did I miss one? We got 5.
No, I think that's it.
Phillies
I think we
underrated.
were talking about going to the Marlins, so we'll do a review whenever we get there.
I know a girl. She was at Baylor. She's now works for the Marlins, so
You get tickets.
I can ask her. I can see what I can do.
Yeah, worst case scenario, I'll just text Jordan or David
They're
or somebody that's still with the shrimp.
they're gonna be dirt cheap anyways. It's Miami.
Yeah, I mean it's
No
a
one
Marlins
goes to
game.
games. Yeah, should be
Worst
cool.
case scenario, like I'm excited
Well,
to go. I'm upset the Clevelander isn't there, but it is what it is. Final
next
thoughts.
year we're all going. We're all going to Camden next year.
I'm down
Next
for
year,
that.
Camden.
Hammer and Homers will make some money. All of our TikToks will pay for our tickets.
Yeah,
Everyone buys their own
our
flights.
sponsorship by Florida Avenue Brewing will help us get us there.
That would be sick.
That would be sick.
Hype Beast, final thoughts?
Thanks for coming on.
Got nothing.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Jacob?
making an appearance.
Final thoughts?
As always, the obligatory Cardinals talk. JJ Weatherholt, please sign him to an extension. Tigers did it with Kevin McConnell. Let's do it with JJ. Let's not worry about it. Save us some arbitration money. Bullpen is bad. Glad we're 3 games above 500. Go Cardinals.
Yeah. R.I.P. Alex Cora. He's not dead, but
Dead to you.
he's not dead to me. No, I'm sad because I won't get to see my friend for a while. He's gonna live it up in PR with his family, which he's deserved. I mean, he deserves it. I feel really bad for Veritek and what happened to him. The way that my favorite team treated him is not right. Somebody gives 30 years of their lives, their career to the team. They deserve better than a measly. We've demoted him to a whatever, assigned to a new role in the organization, one where you won't be in uniform, will just kind of hide you in the background. That's not what you do for a guy like that. Fantasy wise, we're still doing pretty well. Most of my teams are undefeated. None of my teams have more than 2 losses, if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And someone just told me Duncan got the call up. Duncan got called up to Double A, if I'm not mistaken. We might have breaking news. Let's look at Duncan. Did he? Duncan Pastor to Triple A. No way. Dunk's in Triple A? That's sick. Wow. He went from High A, Hudson Valley to Triple A, Scranton Wilkes-Barre. That's awesome.
Let's go. Let's go.
Big Dunk transferred. He's an infielder, also a catcher. Just trying to kind of get anywhere. Diehard Yankee, loves the pinstripes. Will do literally anything for them. Yankee fans, this is somebody who's going to give his heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears to you guys. I hate that he's not a Red Sox and doesn't have those feelings for the Red Sox. But as a guy that I've literally known since we were in diapers, I couldn't be happier for him. So shout out Duncan making it to AAA. Just keep grinding, Bobo. Keep going.
And with that, he's been hammered. I've been homers. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next. See ya.